Welcome into the Recruiting Roundup, powered by Rock and Refuel Varsity. That's Scout.com's Jason Jewell. I'm Jared Cohen. Before we get into the playoffs, big recruiting news to get to. 2 commitments. First, the Chandler High School wide receiver N'Keal Harry makes his announcement on Monday.
Yeah, he committed to Arizona State University, and ASU fans and Todd Graham have been waiting for this big-time national, local-type prospect to commit. It's been a while. DJ Foster was the last one, big prime-time name, getting a second one in N'Keal. From what I was told was that N'Keal wanted to stay home, be very close to his grandmother, and wanted to stay home and be close to her.
So, Jason, what makes N'Keal Harry a 4-star, such a coveted prospect at the next level?
Well, you look at him, he's kind of a freak of nature. He's 6'4", weighs almost 220 pounds. Coach Aguano tells me that he runs 11.1 in the 100 meters, which is absolutely ridiculous for a guy that size. So you look at a big jumbo athlete, plays receiver now, could play defense at the next level, could be an outside linebacker or even a safety. He wants to play wide out. Big physical specimen, matchup problem in the red zone, tough run blocker, which is very underrated part of his game. Just a guy that we love at Scout. He's a number 28 receiver in the country and deserves that 4-star billing.
Now, he's not the only commitment that came from Chandler. Last week, we just missed him on last week's Roundup, so sorry we're a little bit behind. But Hamilcar Rashed commits to Oregon State shortly after he receives an offer from them.
Yeah, got that offer, and just a few minutes later, turned around and committed to them. The deciding factor in that was that his brother had committed to play basketball at Oregon State, but the Beavers are getting a steal because, Hamilcar had not even visited the campus, but he's going to join his teammate Mason Moran up there, who had already committed. But he's a guy that's 6'4", 210 pounds, long, rangy guy that's only going to get bigger, knows how to get to the quarterback, could do multiple things, plays DN, play outside linebacker. Also had an offer from Fresno State and Nebraska. I think this is a very good get for Oregon State.
And man, what a senior year he has had for the Chandler Wolves as they get ready for their playoff push. Before we get into the playoffs, Player of the Week from Week 10, it was a big game for the Brophy Broncos, and their stud senior running back rose to the challenge.
Yeah, Ryan Velez rushed for over 330 yards and 5 touchdowns in a game against Basha High School, a game that Brophy really needed to get that home playoff game, which they're getting this week.
Let's look into round 1 of the playoffs now, Jason. Hey, maybe some potential bracket busters in round 1. I'm going to start Division 2, Higley going up against Williamsfield. Hey, Williamsfield's had a great season. They're battle-tested, very well coached, like their quarterback, Weston Murphy, but we cannot forget about the fact that Higley played and led for most of the game the last time these two teams met. It took a miraculous comeback by Murphy and company for Williamsfield to end up with the W. So we know Higley's going to come in with some confidence. Can they get the win this time? That remains to be seen.
Yeah, a regular season matchup that I was at just a couple weeks ago. Corona del Sol and Marco Ceniza. Those two are facing off against each other in the first round. It's a game that saw Corona del Sol take the lead 15-14 very late in the game. Then Marco's quarterback Naz Greer threw a touchdown pass to lift the Padres to that victory. It's tough to beat a very good team twice. These two teams don't like each other. Crosstown rivals. I think it's going to be a very good game.
In Division 3, Mingus traveling to the Valley to take on Verrado. Mingus, I was impressed with them. I saw them play McClintock a couple weeks ago. They just have a bunch of football players that are tough and gritty, and they just know how to play the game. They run the wing tee to perfection. They've come down to the Valley 4 times this season and are 3-1. The only loss to Peoria. This is a team that isn't afraid to travel, go on the road. Verrado, a very talented team, coming off a tough loss to Desert Edge, so they'll be hungry. But this game has some intrigue, 2 very different styles, but Coach Bob Young at Mingus is kind of bringing back that tough, gritty Mingus-Verrado football that we saw so many years ago.
Now, finishing up in Division 1, I'm kind of intrigued with this Desert Ridge-Liberty matchup. Liberty obviously coming off their huge win against Centennial last week, and they're riding some momentum into the playoffs. These two teams faced off early in the season. Desert Ridge won in a shootout, 48-45. This game could come down to field position, and both these teams have very good punt return men in general. Alex Jackson at Liberty, Tavian Patrick at Desert Ridge. This is a game to keep an eye on.
That's Jason Jewell of Scout.com. I'm Jared Cohen. This has been the Recruiting Roundup, powered by Rock and Refuel Varsity.